the majesty of duty has nothing to do with the enjoyment of life. Faith is the moral attitude of reason as to belief in that which is unattainable by theoretical cognition. It is therefore correct to say that the senses do not err, not because they always judge rightly, but because they do not judge at all. Deficiency in judgment is just what ordinarily is called stupidity, and for such a failing there is no remedy. I have no knowledge of myself as I am, but merely as I appear to myself. I have therefore found it necessary to deny knowledge in order to make room for faith. There cannot be doubt that all our knowledge begins with experience. The true transcendental concept of infinitude is this: that the successive synthesis of units required for the enumeration of a quantum can never be completed. Time is purely a subjective condition, or our human intuition, which is always sensible, that is, so far as we are affected by objects, and in itself, apart from the subject, is nothing. There can be no a priori knowledge, except of objects of possible experience. How much smoke weighs? Subtract from the weight of the wood, burnt the weight of the ashes which are left over, and you have the weight of the smoke. It is also indispensable. Law of empirical representation of the time, series that the appearance of past time determine all existences in the succeeding time, and that these later, as events, can take place only insofar as the appearances of past time determine the existence in time. That is, determine them according to a rule. I am identical to myself. Attitude is the death of sound philosophy, although the former might perhaps be entitled the euthanasia of pure reason. Pure concepts are not derived from experience. Transcendental philosophy is unique in the whole field of speculative knowledge. The savage knows nothing of poverty because he has no acquaintance with wealth. Faith is the moral attitude of reason as to belief in that which is unattainable by theoretical cognition. We can never represent to ourselves the absence of space, though we can quite well think it as empty of objects. It must therefore be regarded as the condition of the possibility of appearances, and not as a determination dependent upon them. Out of the crooked timber of humanity, no straight thing was ever made. Dogmatism, which teaches us nothing, and of skepticism, which does not even promises us anything. Space is peculiar to us. We can know objects only as they appear to us, to our senses, not as they are in themselves, and this assumption is absolutely necessary if synthetic propositions a priori be granted as possible. All bodies, together with the space in which they are, must be considered nothing. Metaphysics have been but mere representations, and exist nowhere but in our thoughts, to and mislead into childish efforts of catching bubbles, because appearances, which are mere representations, were taken for things in themselves.